Alrighty. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to sort of communication cigars. That's sort of back. Man, and we've been back so long, we've been having a hard time going out and trying to get everything up and running here and stuff like that. But guess what? We are back here and no more no intro tonight or something like that. Because I wanted to talk to you and say, like, where have you been, John? What's going on? Well, sometimes life gets in the way, and that's what it was. I've had a lot of different things come up and everything like that. So, with that being said, I wanted to give an update. And I kind of thinking, in roughly about 2 weeks, it will mark 1 year since the channel here, Communications and Cigars, started. And we had a lot of episodes. We tried to do episodes every week, and it really, really, really got tough. It really, really got difficult. So it was kind of like, well, what can we do? What should we do? And life got in the way, and then family got in the way, and I should say got in the way, but it got busy. So I figured, Monday nights, normal nights, 8 o'clock, that's at Central Time. That's when we would go ahead and come on here. And unfortunately, Monday nights have started to become difficult for me, really difficult for me. And you know what? That's not really any excuse whatsoever. So I do apologize. I'm not making an excuse, but hey, I'm kind of being honest with you guys. I do appreciate the channel. As you can see, I'm actually up here in the Fortress of Solitude, doing the show here live right now. Yes, look at all the fishing rods. And truth be told, they're my dad's. So dad's a big fishing person, a fisherman. Can we even say that anymore? Are we that politically correct? We have to say fisher person? I don't know. A person who is what should we say? A person who is specializing in the procurement of scaly amphibious creatures used for food. Is that good? Is that political correct enough? Well, guess what? We're back partially. And the reason I say we're back partially is because I think, as much as I like doing live show, we're going to have to probably change to recorded episodes. And I know a lot of people said, hey, here's the deal. People like the episodes. They sometimes have me and tuned into their thing and stuff like that. But it's kind of getting difficult a little bit for Monday nights. And I never thought Monday nights would be that difficult. And Tuesday nights are just straight out. Wednesday nights, of course, of all my public safety stuff is usually my training and stuff. So that's out of the boat. Thursday nights were okay. And then Friday and Saturday and Sunday nights, no, that just isn't going to go ahead and work anyways. And people aren't usually around the computer Friday or Saturday and Sunday nights. And if you're in Wisconsin, the only thing you're around with on a Friday or Saturday night or even a Sunday night is usually campfire and beer or something like that. And you probably don't want to do that. So what I figured was we'll do a kind of a short, quick episode tonight and kind of let people know we're going to be moving to we're going to be moving into a different venue also. So we're going to be doing the show here, still probably doing some recorded shows. If we have a live show coming up, I will schedule it out. We'll try to do some live shows. We'll try to have some of those guests on. We got a couple interviews planned. I know I said that for a while, but sometimes interviews are hard to do. But we're going to do some recorded episodes and stuff like that. And we're still going to keep the channel going alive, especially considering, hey, guess what? Once again, we're coming close up to 1 year. And I was sitting around and I was thinking, man, what would be a good discussion today? What would be something really kind of cool to talk about today? And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to have enough time to prepare for a show. I'm not going to have it do there. So I figured I'll throw it out live. And if you're tuning in, so good evening to KK6USY. Good evening, Anthony, Plasma Storm, Christopher. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. What should we do? And I thought, okay, well, I got an idea for show, but I think I owe everybody an explanation. Granted, I don't have a lot of viewers. This hasn't always been something that I wanted a lot of subscribers and a lot of viewers. I know there's some people that watch my show and they said, hey, it's great and stuff like that. And we kind of landed and ended kind of with the last kind of episodes talking about doing the install. We're going to finish that now that we got the parts actually in, and hopefully we could reschedule some time and do that kind of things on there. So we got a lot going on. But one of the other things that I kind of find that I feel go hand in hand kind of good with this topic and stuff is going and talking about the show, the MCOM Chat podcast. So we're going to be starting that up soon. It takes a while to get a good podcast up and running and all those kind of things like that on there. So I figured that would be kind of a really, really good kind of a way to do it. So we're going to do per month. We're going to try to do some podcasts, and we're going to try to do some YouTube videos here, or the shows here and stuff like that. But it just kind of comes, once again, a little difficult. And I'm sure a lot of people can go ahead and appreciate that on there. I didn't want to leave everybody hanging. As people know, I wear multiple hats on there. More responsibility has been placed on me at multiple workplaces, so that's kind of what it is. So let's talk about tonight's kind of impromptu episode. And good evening, Brian, WM8G. So let's talk about the impromptu thing. One of the things that I think one of my biggest episodes I got was kind of talking about DMR. And a lot of people are very amazed at how it works in a commercial setting and even in the amateur setting. But one thing I got was everybody was talking about this radio here, the what is this? Radio Oddity GD88. So I got one. And good evening, Evan. I got one. Someone went along, and the reason that people had the question about was not to be like, hey, how's this work and how's this feel and what's this here, what's this and this and this and this. Hey, good evening, Phil. No problem. Tio, he talks a lot. Anyways, hi, Tio. Just kidding. But one thing that I had come up question lately was a lot of DMR radios out there. And, on communications guards, we like to keep it not just about the ham world. We like to keep it about all basic forms of radio communication, business, commercial, public safety, all those kind of things like that on there and all that jazz and what have you. So I thought tonight would be a really, really, really great kind of episode to say, hey, we're getting into the style of things, to talk about what you should consider in different DMR radios. And more importantly, is the DMR radio you're choosing the best for your purpose? So good evening also to 8x is in there, and good evening to Lon also too. So and I see this come up every so often, stuff like that. They say, John, why should I choose this radio over this radio? Why should I choose this and this? Well, first of all, I can't answer that for you. I really can't. The reason I can't answer that for you is because my answer is jaded on what I like. All righty. Your answer or your selection is going to be jaded upon what you like or what you want. But I figured, since I got these questions a lot over to actually the last, I'd say, couple of weeks, and I don't know if it's in corresponding with this radio coming out here. Once again, everybody, you can search YouTube for this radio, and everybody's got that kind of thing like that on there. But here's a couple things to, I feel, consider and talk about when you're selecting a DMR radio. And I'm also going to do this kind of with P25 radios coming up soon too, and kind of just some couple brands here for help people kind of answer this question. So obviously you've decided on a digital voice mode for DMR. Now, where these questions are coming from too, I want to stress is for the business side. So the reason I say is because I had someone ask and saying, John, why should I get, per se, like this DMR radio versus like this new Radio Oddity one? Because Radio Oddity seems to advertise all over the place, compared to, let's say, this one, which is an Anytone, and then compared to, say, this one, which is a Motorola. That's a pretty wide range of radios and things like that for people to use and that kind of thing like that on there. So, and I guess we can make it kind of global. The thing you have to, first of all, deal with and think about when you're selecting a radio, more so DMR radio, is going to be form factor and appearance. Now, wait a minute, form factor and appearance, what do you mean by that? Well, it's going to come down to your users. And in addition to coming down to your users, it's also going to come down to is what do you want? Do you want a basic plain Jane kind of radio here that's very thin, narrow? It has 16 channel knob selection on the top. It has more than 16 channels, but for the most part, you're just going to do 16 channels. Or do you want something that's going to have maybe, per se, a little more bells and whistles on it, that has some features on there, that whatever the case may be? Or do you want something that now has some of the great features on there, but now adds a few more things, like maybe 2-tone calling and 5-tone calling, and then maybe has AES 256 encryption and that kind of thing? Or are you going to need to consider to get a radio that's going to have a display, a keypad, and more important, have features like maybe it has RAS, for access to systems that you can only use a Motorola radio on, or have some security aspects in there and stuff like that. So these are all questions that kind of come into play when selecting that DMR radio. So that's going to be the first, is the beautifulness and the form factor. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and warn people about or suggest is when we start to get into the antennas. So in this one, it has the SMA female. Sorry if it's not. Let's see if I could focus that in a little bit more, Bear. That has an SMA female on there. Sorry if you can't see it. And that means that the antenna is an SMA male. So it has the pin on there. All righty. So that's for that antenna. Now we get up to some of the more higher tier radios. They have an SMA connector on there also too. So like the Motorola, but notice that the Motorola has an SMA male, or excuse me, SMA female on it, where in the radio it has an SMA. You can't even see that there. SMA male. I see the center pin in there. So those are things that you really need to go ahead and think about as the next biggest thing on there. The third thing I would say is thinking about ease of functionality and ease of control. When we're taking a look at radios, once again, not necessarily DMR radios, but you have that 16 channels on this one here. Okay, so what I can load in those 16 channels is I can load specific talk groups, and then they know, like, okay, if I need to talk, let's say you're using a warehouse environment, if I'm on the floor, I would be on channel 1. If I'm in the loading dock, I might be on channel 2. If I'm in shipping, I might be on channel 3. If I'm a supervisor, I might be on channel 4. But then maybe 5 through 16 I have set up as private calls, so that, hey, I need to contact the dock foreman. Okay, I go channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on here, it's not actually a talk group, but it's a private call channel that I would go ahead and use. Compared to now, you kind of get into radios with displays. Now, yeah, you can program a channel or a private call versus a talk group into here, but maybe you don't want it. Maybe you want it as a quick key on here, or maybe you want it as, a quick key press or something on here. There's a couple different ways to go ahead and, how do I say, slice this cat. The next thing you want to do is does everybody need a display? You add a display, you add a keypad, you do these kind of things. That adds more money. Why? Because you can have more features on it. Okay. A non-display radio is going to be good for just talking only, and then maybe the man down button on here, but it is in no way, shape, or form going to allow you to send a text message. How do you send a text message? Do you need to be able to send text messaging on there? Or do you even need to go one step further, not only have text messaging, but have the feature set of even doing like a work ticket program in here that you can go and saying, oh, hey, wait a minute, I got a work ticket that we got to go ahead and pull, which I've seen and set this up before in some systems. Like, hey, I got to pull a work ticket for a pallet, 28 boxes on this one pallet. Okay, hey, we just got a work ticket in here. Can we go ahead and pull a pallet with 28 boxes of such and such on there? Okay, great. Okay, they pull it, will tell me it's going to be shipping. Now I can go in there off the keypad here and there and mission tag complete, and then it would forward it on. Those kind of things like that. So those are things that you have to really focus on. You really have to think about when it comes into selecting a good DMR radio. The other thing you want to do is obviously, and I would say this is going to be the biggest one, is what is out there for software and how easy is it for the software to use. All righty. DMR programming, if you've done it a few times and you're techie enough, not a problem. You understand time slots, color codes, talk groups. You know how to organize the channel. You know how to put contact lists, and you know how to do all those kind of things like that on there. Great, not a problem. Some people do not. Some people, it's going to be difficult on there. Some software looks like complete Greek foreign, or maybe, hey, it's Chinese-based software, okay, like on here. And you know what? You're just scratching your head going, what the hell do they mean by that in any way, shape, or form? So another thing to go ahead and think about on there. The other final thing is going to come into cost. Once again, cost. And I kind of said, the more features, more cost and everything like that. Yeah, but cost is a big factor when it comes to selecting radios. You can get sub $100 DMR radios. And just like any other radios you buy, you're going to get what you pay for. And some are cheap, and you're going to pay for some that are cheap. Some, I think, are a little more pricey than what they need to be. I'm just saying. There's a couple of channels that recently have talked about this and done some digging and stuff like that, I'll be perfectly honest with you, they kind of did some research on it. Ape is the one channel I saw that talked about it today, but it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, it's rebranded, so I guess that kicks up price. That always brings me back to the Uniden Radio Shack days. And if you guys have been in radio for a while or had scanners or whatever, you totally understand that. The other thing about it is like, okay, so, average price, what are the accessories going to go ahead and be? What's going to be the batteries? What's going to be the speaker mics? Those kind of things, because that can add up and be costly on there too. And then more so when you start to get into high tier. So you're talking like Motorola or Hyteras or like the Kenwood NX 5000 series or even the 3000 series. What kind of feature sets do you want in the radio? And that is going to go ahead and drive price. Some of those feature sets can be added later. Some of those feature sets have to be purchased at the time of the radio purchase. So these are just things to think about when you're selecting. And I've talked about DMR radio because it hits on a couple DMR things, but any radio in general on there. So that's kind of it. It's a short little episode, not too long here, 15 minutes. But wanted to say, yes, I still am alive. I've heard rumors and people were saying that I fell off the face of the earth and stuff like that. And the radio logo comes at, yes, it does, Ape. It comes at a very cost premium. You know, you can't get that red colored D anywhere else, I'll tell you that much. But no, I haven't fallen off the face of the earth. Like I said, it just got really super busy. Summers always do. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, summers always get super busy. And that's why the show started over a year ago, or well, just about a year ago in September, because things started to go ahead and slow down on there. So thank you for everybody that still stays in. Thank you for everybody that checked in. I didn't even do a, hey, tonight at 8 o'clock is this kind of thing. I just kind of came on and I see I've had like 14, 15 viewers and people in the chat, and I really do appreciate it. Stay safe, stay strong out there. I'm going to, like I said, post more videos. We'll get the more information out on the MCOM Chat podcast. We're cutting episodes on there right now, but it does take a little bit of a while to go ahead and actually kind of produce it. Then you got to upload it, and then it goes out to the cloud and all that fun stuff like that on there. So thank you very much for everybody. Take care. 73s, I want everybody to stay safe. And I'm actually going to go out and enjoy a cigar right now. I don't know what I'm going to enjoy, but I'm going to go and enjoy a cigar right now. So as always, if you have them, smoke them and enjoy them. Until then, till the next time I'm on live, stay tuned for the stream, subscribe, and then you can get all the alerts on there. 73, everyone. Take care and stay safe.